I'm Matt, and today I've been riding around on BMW's new G310 GS. So the G310 GS is based off the G310R, which we tested last year, and we thoroughly enjoyed that for a Lambs bike. At its heart is a 313cc single-cylinder engine, puts out about 34 horsepower, which is not quite the most in the compact adventure class, but it's right up there. It's a lovely little engine actually. It likes to rev, it doesn't have a lot of power down low, but once you get it to 7,000 RPM on the highway in 6th gear, it's at its happy spot, and from there it just revs out to the rev line and you can have a good bit of fun. So what's changed between the G310R and the G310 GS? Well, obviously you've got the GS inspired bodywork with the beak up front. Looks nice and off-roady, even though this bike isn't the most off-road bike. That said, it managed to get me to this lovely location in the middle of the Coromandel Forestry, so it does have a bit of the GS chops going for it. Other changes include longer suspension, which is a bit soft and it's not adjustable unfortunately, apart from the preload on the rear shock. Big 19-inch front wheel up front, so wrapped in Metzeler Tourance tyres, and they've done a brilliant job both on-road and off-road. On-road, the tyres and the bike have done really well to just hold a line mid-corner and drop down a couple of gears, pin the throttle and just power out. It's actually been quite a lot of fun. Unlike the bigger GS's though, you're not going to get a TFT screen on this bike. It is made for a price. It is under $10,000, brand new. So instead of a TFT, you've got a pretty comprehensive LCD screen. Now the LCD, it tells you everything from your speed, clock, your fuel range, to everything from your current fuel consumption, your trip meters and the temperature of the engine. It's pretty well sorted. It does have a shift light, though by the time it turns on you're pretty much banging up against the rev limiter anyway. But again, it does what it's meant to, and yeah, there's not really anything you can complain about it other than the fact it's not a TFT. Moving on though, one place I do have a bit of a complaint is the tiny fairing, or the tiny screen if you will. It would have been nice to have a slightly bigger screen to actually do a bit more work in taking some wind pressure off your chest, which you do notice at highway speeds. That saying, it is a pretty good looking little bike and the screen is part of that. Hopefully BMW will bring out a larger fairing or larger screen in the accessories catalogue, but till then that's pretty much the biggest gripe I've got with this bike. Ergonomically, it's more set up for the road. The bars are a bit low for off-road riding, but this seat, oh man, she's comfy. She's almost all day comfy, that seat. Down at your pegs, you've got a nice grippy set of pegs with rubber inserts. I've taken the inserts out today because I am riding on gravel and I want all the grip I can get. And out back you have this very large and quite rugged aluminium or steel, not quite sure what it is, but you got this really nice luggage rack out back which you'll easily be able to whack a top box. I've had my tripod and my camera bag strapped down to it just fine, and it's a real asset in a class like this. The compact adventure class, as you know, is very competitive. You've got at least 4 bikes vying for your incoming adventure riders. You've got your Royal Enfield Himalayan, your Kawasaki Versys, your Honda Rally and this. Plus KTM's about to throw the cat amongst the pigeons next year, hopefully with the 390 Adventure. As far as looks go, it's a bit hard to go past the Beamer. And yeah, it does so far everything a GS should. One thing I've noticed while riding around town and everything is, for my liking anyway, the gearing is a bit tall. If I was to own this bike, I'd probably look at shortening up the gearing, just because in 6th gear when I'm riding on the highway at 100k an hour, it just feels like it's not in its happy place. Its happy place is around 7,000 RPM or higher, and when it's about 6,000 RPM it just feels like the engine's labouring a little bit. That said, it's easily fixed, chopped down into 5th gear or ride faster. It's a nippy little bike. It's not going to go winning any records, but when it comes to getting into the GS lifestyle for under 10 grand, it fits the bill perfectly, and I've been having a blast. But if you'd like to know more about this bike, I'm not going to tell you absolutely everything in this video. So if you want to get the full story, grab a copy of BRM. This will be in the magazine very, very soon, so keep an eye out.